Welcome to another edition of Weather and Climate Chat, May 16th, with Monsoon Mike and Dr. Davis. Dr. Davis, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Crazy past couple of days, especially culminating yesterday with a sun, clouds, rain, grapple, sun, more clouds, more rain, more grapple, more sun, more clouds.
Pretty much anything you could think of we had.
And it changed literally every 20 minutes. You had beautiful bright blue skies, followed by a downpour, followed by grapple, followed by sunshine, the one constant yesterday, though, was the wind. Mm-hmm. Break it down for us, Dr. Davis. What was yesterday all about?
We had pretty much a low-pressure system that was crossing the area and has since exited off the eastern seaboard, but it's going to be intensifying over the next 24 hours or so, and that's going to be tightening the pressure gradient. And that's what's giving us our blustery conditions on Monday today.
Yeah, yesterday and today for that matter, but especially yesterday was pretty darn chilly. Did we break any records that you know of?
I didn't see any records being broken, personally.
Right.
I do know that we had a very unseasonable air mass come down, and there was some snow in the area, not so much down toward the Kutztown area. And
grapple reports. We talked about grapple in the past.
Indeed. I know back home in Cleveland they got some snow too, and
Yep.
snow in mid-May is pretty much unheard of, or at least in this part of the country,
Right.
I imagine. But with Cleveland, I've seen snow in May before, and I don't know, but I think it was even a late May that I remember snow in Cleveland.
Somebody online brought up a very good point, and I never really thought of it this way, but I guess if you're a warm weather lover, it's kind of a depressing way to look at it, and maybe perhaps a sign that you should move. In this crazy part of the country, we've seen some snow and frozen precipitation as early as September and as late as May, so that pretty much leaves 9 months out of 12 in this crazy part of the country that we can have this happen.
Yeah, but it's pretty uncommon.
It's unusual, yeah.
So I wouldn't really bet on it every single year.
Right. But I guess if you're...
But the potential's there.
The potential's there. If you're a warm weather fan, it is a little on the depressing side. But at least we had some more sunshine the past few days. Even though we had that crazy mix, at least we're getting into a pattern where we're seeing a little more sun and not so consistently cloudy and dreary.
Yeah, we have a high-pressure system pretty much setting up over the Carolinas today, and that should be giving us mostly clear skies for the majority of the day before some disturbance comes through tomorrow and into Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Right now it looks to us at least that Tuesday could be more of a hit-or-miss sort of situation perhaps, and then Wednesday maybe we're getting more into the more substantial risk for rainfall. Yeah.
And it looks like once again we're going to be on the northern fringe, and that's something I should mention. Last week was kind of interesting because I forget what day it was. I believe it was Wednesday. We had talked about on Monday when we did our weather and climate chat that there was going to be a northern extent, cutoff. And, Tuesday was a little on the dreary side. Wednesday, I was getting reports from my fans up in Stroudsburg, which is not that far from here, that it was beautiful sunshine. And here we were socked in the clouds. Mm-hmm. And if you pulled up the satellite picture, the infrared satellite on the radar, you could pretty much see that line just like drawn right across the area.
Yeah, sometimes they're pretty well defined of where the cloud shield actually extends. And it's pretty dramatic in some situations like what was last week.
Now, as I'm talking to you, I just brought up the GFS model that just ran for 12 o'clock. And pretty much it looks like, once again, there's going to be a northern extent to that rain cutting off somewhere around our area. And then, some showers lingering into Wednesday a little bit and then out to sea. So once again, looks like it's going to be that cutoff.
Yeah, a very nice, well-defined
cutoff
line. I'm looking at it with you right now.
Yeah. So,
it looks maybe just a little bit to our north, maybe somewhere between Allentown and Scranton.
Right. So once again, we hate to give you these half forecasts, but the next 2 days are going to be, one of those things where to the north it could be better than to the south.
And even the QPF, the quantity of precipitation forecast, don't even look that impressive.
No, not really. So this is, what it might be is just 2 more generally cloudy, grayer type days, which we seem to have grown used
showers,
to. Which we seem to have grown used to.
I like that big
month.
high pressure coming in
that's
across
nice.
the Great Lakes on
Thursday. Thursday looks very nice. Friday looks pretty nice. Oh, yeah. And I know the Euro model's been a little depressing for the weekend. Let's see what the GFS is still running as we talk now, so it hasn't quite gotten that far out.
Well, where are we? Friday? Is that say 18Z?
Yes, that's around 1 o'clock.
Friday afternoon, yeah.
We can go back to see what the morning GFS said, what they thought for the hold on, here we go. See what that thinks for the weekend.
There's a whole bunch of moisture coming up the
it looks like
Tennessee River Valley.
Oh, yeah,
right
okay. It looks like Saturday afternoon. The morning GFS was pretty pessimistic as well, too, for some rain moving back in. So,
But again, it looks like it pretty much stops right around Maryland,
Yep.
at least the heaviest precipitation.
Yep, the heaviest, and then out to sea, and then Sunday doesn't look too bad. Maybe some scattered showers around. Well, yeah, some scattered showers around, possibly. So we'll see. Obviously, weekend is a far way off, but we'll just focus on today, Monday being nice. Tuesday, Wednesday, leaning on the cloudier side, some hit-or-miss showers, rain showers, maybe a steadier period of light rain. Thursday, Friday, nice, and then who knows about the weekend. Check back for the weekend.
And temperatures will be rebounding this week,
that's
too.
the other thing I want to talk as well. I mean, we're going to have slightly more average temperatures. Where should we be this time of year?
We should be about the upper 60s.
Okay, we haven't been anywhere near there the past few days.
No, we've been pretty much below that.
Yeah, so should be a little more seasonal.
Well, we will be getting up to like the low 70s, maybe even the mid 70 by Thursday or Friday.
Okay, yeah, and if we have those 2 nice, bright, sunny days, that'll be fantastic. Okay. So that's good. The Climate Prediction Center, before we do our weekly topic, I just want to take a quick look at what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for the next, 6 to 10 days and 8 to 14.
I will say, too, that I was looking at the Allentown record and was looking like the first 10 days of May were averaging about 3.3 to 6.3 degrees Fahrenheit below
normal. Yeah.
So we got off to a pretty cold start here in May.
Well, good news for you warmer weather lovers. 6 to 10 day outlook.
That's pretty saturated with red.
about a 50, at least a
At least in the
50%
eastern.
chance of probability above average of warmer than normal. And for you folks tired of the rain, we're leaning a little, maybe possibly below normal rain wise, 6 to 10 days out. So that's good news for all this wet weather. And 8 to 14, yep,
Pretty much the
a lot of
same.
oranges and
Dry.
so fairly dry. So looks like the second half of May might be a little nicer than the first half of May.
Let's hope so. After having that Omega block
Yeah.
earlier in the month, and now this kind of colder, snowier solution.
Yeah,
that we
geez.
had.
I mean,
Or Grauple solution in some areas.
A little bit of everything. Okay. Well, there's your forecast for the week, folks. Now we've got our topic of the week, a pretty big thing happened in the climate world. A major decision of sorts was made in the past week. Tell us about it, Dr. Davis.
Obama pretty much said now that the EPA is going to be regulating methane emissions. Now, this is important because methane has never been essentially regulated before by the EPA, and it's been pretty much pointed out by environmentalists as having a much more absorbent impact essentially on energy. So while carbon dioxide gets a whole bunch of discussions in terms of climate change, methane actually absorbs more energy than carbon dioxide, but it stays in the atmosphere for a very short period of time compared to carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide's residency time's about 40 years or so,
Wow.
but methane's about 10, 12 years.
Okay.
Now, most of the methane actually comes from the oil industry. So when you start about things like fracking and so forth, there's release of methane from those sites that have been severely underestimated.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some indication that that's where most of that is actually methane release is coming from, is from those sites. And now this ruling essentially will be regulating how much methane is coming from these sites. But the problem, too, is that it only extends for new and future production of oil and so forth, and releasing the methane.
Fracking.
So all the pre-existing ones are not covered. So it's a start, but there's more that needs to be done. And methane has usually been the main contention point from environmentalist standpoint on Obama's climate change initiative, where if he's doing all this with carbon, he needs to do something with methane too. And now he sounds like he's starting to address it. So we're happy in that respect, but that can go on even more.
So what, Dr. Davis, why was methane never really regulated? Was it like a political battle, or was it just the fact that this fracking is a fairly new thing and there really was no need to regulate it in the past?
The scientists were pretty much still studying what was going on with methane, how much of a selective absorber it actually was.
Okay.
So that was kind of a delay there. There's also estimates as to what exactly is being released from, say, the oil extraction process.
Okay.
So there was some contention there, and what the science is actually doing, I think, is finally all essentially reached a
consensus.
A consensus now, you can word it that way. And now we can progress from that point.
So that's definitely a start. Like you said, this isn't the end-all, be-all climate change solved, but this is a good start.
And he wants to, I believe, let me double-check, make sure I got my numbers correct, wants to reduce methane by 40 to 45% below 2012 levels by 2025.
Okay.
And this would be from emissions from pumps, compressors, wells, and infrastructure.
So that's pretty significant.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely a very good start. So where do we go from here? What's the next phase to make this even, this grow?
Yeah, I believe it's probably going to go from where you have some type of legislation or addendum to this actual regulation that's going to cover the pre-existing wells
ones that you just mentioned,
because 70% of that emissions
are
going to be coming from those pre-existing wells.
Right.
At least some analysts are saying that. So in which case, that's going to be a sizable portion of the actual gas emission that's not regulated.
Right.
So we need to address that. We need to essentially have EPA start to monitor these air qualities and how much emissions are actually coming from them and see whether they're actually reducing their methane footprints from these sites, and if not, then come up with some sort of repercussions for that.
Okay. Well, small change is definitely made or a big change is definitely made first by small steps. So this was a pretty significant small step.
Yes, I would say so.
All right. Very good. Any further comments about that, or you want to wrap it up now today?
No, I think I pretty much covered that. I don't know if there's anything that you want to bring up.
No, I think we're good. We're maybe a minute or two less than usual, but that's fine. We'll keep it short and sweet today since we covered a lot. So
I will say I have guests lined up.
Okay.
Summer.
All right. So
notice how I said guests.
Guests. All right, plural for our English fans out there. Okay. Well, so that definitely then we'll keep it a little on the shorter side today, so people can get all beefed up and ready for these guests coming up in the coming weeks. All right. Well, Dr. Davis, thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll talk to you again next week or so.
Sounds good.
All right.